Okie dokie. So this is our yoga session together. We are going to come down into a comfortable relaxation position, whatever that feels like for you. I've still got some layers on. You might do the same. You might want a blanket. You might want a cushion. Either for now or just in general, you might like to add that into your support. You might want a chair if we do any balancing work that you feel like it's helpful to have that additional support. But for right now, we're going to come on down. So I'm going to come and join you. I'm going to come and lie down on my mat. I'm just going to ease myself down. Perhaps you would like to settle with your feet flat, your head relaxed on the cushion or on your mat, and you could stay here. You could also have a little version of this where you just let the feet rock out so that you can get a little bit of inner thigh stretching, or even have reclining Bandha Konasana, which is soles of the feet together. You don't have to have your arms out, but it's quite a nice way sometimes. Just let everything settle down. So you're just taking your calming, your easygoing, the inhale that sends that awareness up through the body, then sensation of lifting will be inside that inhale, so lifting that breath up through the body, and then sensing that your exhale has a little bit more to give you as well. The exhale is allowing you to draw down deeper into your mat, and you're just taking a nice rhythmical approach for me. A rhythmical approach to the inhale and a rhythmical approach to the exhale. The inhale rises, as I already mentioned, and trying to elaborate on that. Try to make it a little bit of a fuller breath, even ever so slightly. So each breath is not the same, exactly the same as the one that came before. The inhale can open you up through the chest, open you up down through the arm line, and also just open you up through the neck area, into the throat, and into the idea of lifting that lightness coming out through the crown of the head. As we roll around and come into your exhale, the same is true to help you ease you down into the mat. You let that breath draw down through the body, and that drawing down sensation is the calming nature of the exhale that starts as well to elaborate on that very first few breaths. So when I mean elaborate, I just mean to go wider, to create more openness, and you'll breathe into the upper back just a little bit more with each breath you're presented with. So really we just take our time. We take our time to be present right here, right now with the breath. If you know there's an area of the body that would benefit from having a little bit more of that attention to detail, let's try that now. For me, perhaps right at the very beginning, is actually telling my mind to be present with the class, present with where you are, pushing those thoughts away of your day so far and softening, feeling that softening through your forehead. Feel a lovely lengthened relaxational movement of that breath coming down through your jawline and your cheeks, and then radiating outwards so that you can relax through the chest, relax through the shoulders. And where each part of the body in turn moves on to the next, we find those beautiful transitions where there's a softness moving through. It could be a softness on the inhale that's rising up and passing through on the way up and out. It could be the exhale to just draw you down. So just breathe yourself down and down and down through the body. When I say rhythmical, it's rhythmical because it flows. That breath is coming and that breath is moving away. It's just like waves lapping against the shoreline where you sense that breath can rise up and you sense that breath can just gently does it fall away. So creating a flow is really important for you and your body and your experience of our class together. So flowing with the breath is one of our key principles. Flowing with our poses where we can stretch, we can hold, and then we might be able to release again. We flow through a sequence of events and we flow with the breath. Now let's flow to be able to have a little bit of that core engagement to support any holding and to support the flow and transition between our poses. That's going to come from your core strength. So here it might be very minimal. It might be that you're just gently switching it on, and that's all fine. It might be that that's where you stay today and you stay on the calmer side of things, and that is absolutely fine as well. If you are able to tune in to your core, it could be very simple, very straightforward. You can feel the sense of it coming up from the base of the pelvis. You can feel it drawing through that kind of wide where you get to the hips and then draw back in potentially to come to your tummy button. So there's kind of an ebb and flow and in and out with where you're going to feel the core. It could be the wrapping around of the waist and the side of the waist drawing in. It could really be anything, because if you are able to do one kind of big movement of the core, it could be all of those muscles combined. So letting yourself have the flow that has the breath coming and going. And when you're ready for more intensity, let's put it inside the exhale. And whether that core engagement comes, it will come and go. So when it comes into you engaging and engaging a little deeper, it's going to be inside the exhale. When you're ready for a little calm and a slight version of the switch off and the easy back again, that's going to be your inhale. So maybe give me about 5 of these where there's some form of core engagement. It does not have to be the biggest that you've ever done. It doesn't have to feel like you're yanking it into place. It's there within the flow of the inhale for release of the core. And when you're in the exhale, that's where you're drawing in. That's where you're giving me the core engagement. So rhythmical is always key. Calm is always key, and then layering is what I'm after for you. So layering up and giving me your best and final version of maybe 2 more of these, slightly more intense. And let's breathe in and let's breathe out. So when you're ready for a little of the calm back again, if you are, I'm just going to come back with you. If you are already there with your feet planted, what we can do is we can just release our hands. So if you had them down, sorry, and the arms, if you had your arms at the side, I'm just going to float them up and then take them into a U shape above our head, and then settle and let the hands, so it's the back of my hands, settle on the mat. And if you need to, you can always come in, rise up on the exhale, let your elbows settle down. So my elbows in line with my shoulder, and I have got, let me come this way. So my elbows are in line with my shoulder, and I'm allowing myself the chest stretch into the top of the arms. So it could be across the shoulders, into the chest, into your biceps. And like I said, if you want to flow and bring those arms back round, I'm just going to move more centrally. So you're breathing in, and it's like an arm circle that actually has a pause. So again, pop the hands down when you're ready. Breathing in, breathing out. If you can, use a little bit of core engagement here to have a little bit of imprint of your spine. So when you come up and out, if you'd like to, we can interlace those hands, stretch and reach up. When we release round, we allow ourselves to put the elbows down, open the chest. Try not to pucker up your chest, so allowing yourself to settle with a bit of core engagement to pull you down, draw down through your abdominals. And we're going to do one more. So when you come up and out, I'm going to interlace, press and push my hands up to the ceiling. When I release, the arms go round, the elbows come down, and I do it quite slowly. I'm letting the backs of the hands come down last, breathing in and breathing out. And then potentially it is calmer to have the arms down, palms down, and let the shoulders relax for a moment. And you're already here for me, so we're going to do a pelvic tucking version of our bridge position. So I'm going to just do little pelvic tucks and little mini lifts. This is not the highest that my hips can go, but I am using core engagement, the lower portion where my hamstrings meet my glutes. That part of me, in and around the pelvis, the glutes and the lower back, that's the activating I would like from you. Activate through your core, activate through your glutes, and just lift to tuck. And it will get stronger. You will get more familiar. You might need to play around to bring the heels in a little bit, so they're a little closer to your bottom. You breathe in. This is your neutral. When you're ready for it, you lift up and then squeeze for me. Press out through those legs. So you've lifted the hips, you've stretched and reached that line, and then slowly come down. If you want to, you have a little tuck and release whilst you're here. So I haven't lifted my bottom. This tuck and release, has a gentle overarch and then a press in. So I'm just overarching my back to tuck and release the pelvis. So find a lovely big deep scoop for me, where you scoop out through the lower abdominals and you're releasing. So undulating my spine just from the sort of midline to the tailbone is this pelvic tuck. And use your abs for me. So when you breathe in, it's neutral for the abdominals. When you tuck, you'll feel it. You'll feel it right into the pelvis. Breathe in, breathe out. Scoop it and keep going for me. And let's get this one higher than you think. Higher than you've done already. So squeeze where your glutes meet the hamstrings. Squeeze to keep these legs in parallel. Reach the arms up for me. And then let's put those same arms back again we just had. It's a U shape with the arms. Elbows are out wide, in line with my shoulders. Backs of the hands are on the mat. And when you're ready for it, can you leave the hands where they are? Ease yourself back down and find that stretch. So try again not to puff up the chest and leave your overarched back. Wiggle the shoulders, wiggle you back. Keep the hands where they are. Breathe in, breathe out. Then just bring the hands round, pop the palms down again. Relax through the arm lines, so the biceps and the shoulders. Keep the legs where they are unless you needed to change them. Big pelvic tuck, big scoop, lovely and high. So this time, if you are able to, maybe just pop your hands in towards where my ankles are, and you've got a different position for the arms. If you would like a classic version where you interlace the hands, you could do that without any more. If you want to go a little deeper, you roll your shoulders and you walk those hands in, and you've got your hands interlaced underneath. Another version for a strong chest stretch here in your bridge position. So breathing in and breathing out. If you can, you're going to give me a little mini walking version here as well, just to mobilize and use our strength and power here to give ourselves a single leg option. I'm lifting one heel, lifting the other. And then here, just wiggle onto the elbows, ease yourself down, and then let's hug in. So let's have Apanasana. If you want to hug up, you absolutely can. Otherwise, maybe start with a very calm. So you could let your hands be on the knees or just onto the shins and have a very calm version of this hold. I always do get into a little bit of wiggle for my ankles. And then if you like the hugging up, I just shift my weight so that I can hug a little deeper. So I've got a little bit more of my back off of the mat, a little bit more of that hug and that tuck and the knees into my chest. And if you don't want to have the head up, you don't have to. But as we come down, I'm going to flex my feet, pop my hands down, and just do a little mini push press. So then I'm going to hug the knees in, toes pointed, hollow that belly, curl up, nose to knee. Ease your head and shoulders back down, hands down, and again, my legs are going together, and they're slightly on the angle. They're not the perfect right angle where they're pushing right up to the ceiling, because this is the first time we've stretched our hamstrings in this way. So although I might be able to get there, I've got to make sure that I'm getting there with control. So not just flinging the legs up, I'm going to push, press those heels up to the ceiling, and I'm going to engage the thighs. To make it more hamstring, I'm going to slide up and have pointed toes, and then I'm just going to come down gently, easing us back. So here, now we can have a little gentle walkout version, because we've got one leg with the straight leg, pointed toe. Because it's free standing, or free lying, shall we say, I'm not actually in the deepest version of this hamstring stretch. That would come when I hold. I'm just doing a walking version in between and actually activating our thighs. So I've just got that one to pause now and hug up again. This one, Apanasana, you can put with a little rock. If you haven't done it as yet with me, you can try that. Then head and shoulders back down, hollow out the belly, cores engaged. I'm going to point the toes, and then I'm going to flex the feet, and I'm just going to go with one leg down, one leg up, one leg down, one leg up, point the toes, hold the calves, gently does it. Again, this time I'm bringing both knees in, hugging and wrapping, releasing. Now I'm just going to do this reclining version of Bandha Konasana. and I'm just going to hold. If you just want to hang there, you absolutely can hang there. I'm just going to hold my knees a little closer in and just put a little bit of that extra pressure, extra stretch through my inner thighs. If you'd like a little bit of both, you could wiggle and hold them out there, wiggle the ankles, hold the knees, and then you might widen the legs just a touch as you draw them in. Be careful of pinching on the inner thighs and the crook into your hip. And then up and is back again, tucking in. And then from here, I'm just going to simply rock to the side. If you'd like to rock and roll, please do. When we're up, I'm just going to maneuver around more so for the camera, but we're going to be in your very classic cat-cow position, but I'm going to put in the pelvic tuck again. So I'm going to start with the lower end of it and then build us up from there. If you want to go straight into it, please do, but I'm going to flatten my hands. Just move this way a little bit. I'm just going to flatten my hands, have the box position. And from here, like I said, just tuck and release. So I'm not overarching, but I am getting into a little bit more. You can't see it so much with my top, but a little bit more of the tuck and release has my core engagement. So I'm working into my abdominals to help lower back stretching. So I want to engage through the side of the waist, over the hips, into the hip flexors when I do that scoop up. So I release, I tuck, I breathe in, I breathe out. So it's all relative. If you've already got there into a fuller range of motion, just carry on. It really doesn't matter. Breathe in for me, breathe out. When you're ready for it, and I just nudged in there before I even told you I did, but I nudged in to a bigger, fuller range motion of the rounding back and your cat pose. And if you'd like to put a little hold, maybe you want to bring in a tighter option. So when you round, you are even more secure in the stacking of the wrists, elbows, shoulders. And if you haven't done it yet, pop your chin into the chest and hold yourself there. As I release, you can just do a little gentle, if it's okay for you, a little gentle wiggle. And then I quite like a roll and tuck. So it might feel like you're only doing one side to roll and tuck, so then you've got to roll and tuck for the other. So it's this kind of movement, but in the all fours. So I'm just going to roll it round, and then I'm just going to push press. So I'm just pushing only on my right hand side. So then I get the stretch over the left hip. So I'm just push pressing. Now I'm going to roll it over on the left, roll this circular motion up and around, and then over on the angle. So I'm just pushing across. It may not come across on the camera that I'm doing anything different, but now I'm going to make that movement bigger and roll it and lean it and stretch it. So here I've got the shoulders coming in, I've got sweeping through the side of the waist, I've got glutes, I've got calves, I've got hamstrings. It's all a go really here. So just stretch it and reach it and roll it. And then if we haven't done much of we've done lots of cat, we haven't done much of the cow, I'm just going to let myself lift the chin now. So stretching through the neck for me is a little bit more helpful when I do lift the chin. I'm going to gently nod the head down to one side, gently let it be heavy, and I'll find myself on the other side. As I come up to the midline, I'll do it again. I'm going on the same side, feeling, when I go to the left, feeling the stretch on the right, roll it through, onto the other side, and then through that midline. And then I'm just going to go back to tuck and release. And if you leave your head quite neutral and you don't ever tuck it, why don't you try that for me? If you prefer to actually undulate through the arm line as well, you can give me a little bit of a rock and a roll. So there's multiple layers, multiple positions, but as you can imagine here, I'm hoping to put it with flow for you. So last opening here, last pause is opening those knees, bringing the big toes together, and maybe have a wide hand position for a change. And if you've got a floor, it doesn't matter which floor, but if you've got a floor that helps you either slide out or walk it out nicely, you can wiggle down. If the arms are too wide, just nudge them in. If they're no good out there, you could pop them in and pop your head down, If you'd like your head down classic on the mat, you can always put your hands down by your feet or your ankles. And you're just finding a rhythm of the breath that has an element of calm to it now. So if it feels a little tight somewhere, probably inner thighs or one of those places, or the lower back, just try to settle into a calmer version of the breathing before you actually release the body. So it does work together, releasing the body and releasing yourself down, but releasing the breath. But I think sometimes it's mind and body. So get the mind in gear to relax and then relax into that child's pose. So breathing in for me and breathing out. Just finding a rhythm and a flow that you can work with, where you now feel like the back of the body is open for you to breathe your way through. So breathing our way through the wrapping idea of the rib cage around us, the hugging element of the rib cage. Same is true as you go through the mid back to the lower back. Find a nice wrapping sensation and a releasing of tension. So breathing in, breathing out. Right where you are just settled into a calm version of that breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And then when you're ready for some movement, be careful because you've been down there a little while. If you want to come up slowly, but then only open the eyes when you're back to sort of the all fours position, that might be a nice idea. What we're going to do is give me a really big, strong handstand so that you can actually then have the extra layer of security and the power and the strength through the arms when you give me a downward facing dog. So tucking your toes, you could push back onto the heels, so as you walk forward. This is angry cat. If you want to stretch out your feet first, you can tuck the toes and keep pressing back. And you can also release and wiggle the ankles, then tuck toes, push back. You can do a couple of these for me before you come up into down dog, which I'm going to do on this next one. So I'm just going to release the knees. And then I'm always going to play around with my positioning. It's personal to my anatomy. I like mine a little wider. You could come in a little bit to help. You could go wider. So it's a little bit like a wide standing forward bend. But ideally, you are positioning yourself in a way that you feel calf and hamstring stretching for me. So breathing in and breathing out. Straightening the legs. If you want to full extension, then use the core, press into the heels, but squeeze through those thighs. If you want to have a walking version, you might just lift up onto the toes or come a little closer and have both knees softer and then walk it out. The walk out can still be very strong, so you can put all your weight in one heel, lift up and put all the weight in the other. It actually, for me personally, changes the actual angle of where I feel it in the calf when I do that. So for a change, we're going to do a step forward. So when you're ready, step your feet in, and then here, chest on my thighs, roll up a little bit like coming through a chair pose, and then roll out. All we're going to do is repeat that idea, but actually put the chair pose in. So if you prefer to step back and come into chair, you absolutely can. I'm just doing a different version for a change, where you're in the down dog, you're going to step the feet forward and then put your chest really nice and tightly connected. So my core is engaged to get my chest onto the thighs, and obviously it's anatomy as well. And then when we come up from there, we can come up with the arms coming up and out into more of a classic chair position. So just so you know what's coming your way, let me just come this way actually. That might be a good idea. So from here, let me start at the top of that. I'm wandering off all over the place. So I'm just going to roll down, ease ourselves down into a soft version of standing forward bend. So it doesn't have to be the biggest version. Just breathing in for me, breathing out. And then I am going to soften the knees and plant the hands, but I'm going to tuck. I'm going to come onto all fours and get the toes tucked, ready to then go up again. So my hands are planted, my toes are tucking. I'm going to push back into downward facing dog. Again, I'm just going to play around with it for a moment. And then from here, big step forward, chest onto your thighs, and then come rising out through chair. If you want to just look up in an extended mountain pose, and then we can just flow back down. So I'm going to see if we can walk in and walk out of this chair pose. So legs are parallel. I'm going to slide down, chest onto my thighs, plant my hands, and then we're going to step back, heels down, then you are in that version of down dog that makes sense for you. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to repeat a step forward, step forward. I'm going to zip up my legs this time. And this time I'm doing the same reach, but I'm just going to keep with more of a V shape and an upper back extension in that mountain pose. Just be calm on this one. Let's have mountain pose classic. So I'm zipping up from the pelvis. I'm going to have the zipped up legs. I'm just going to relax the shoulders, palms face front. You might have a little bit of sway going on because you are here with a zipped up position. So if you need the parallel legs, please do. I've got my eyes closed. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And then just softly release the hands. And then I'm going to open my eyes just to see where I'm going as I roll down. This standing forward bend is a zipped up version. I'm also going to do the half where I've got my fingertips in front. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. From here again, let's go down, chest onto the thighs. If you can, just momentarily hold this so you know what this feels like for core engagement. Get your hands ready, plant them. Little mini tip forward and we step back. And this time, let's step back into a plank before you give me your downward facing dog. So I'm just going to part my feet a little bit, get ready to tip again onto the toes and then onto the heels. Pressing in, breathing in and breathing out. Just pressing a little bit extra layer of pressure down through those heels if you can. Come with me to step forward once more. I'm doing right foot in, left foot in, zipping up. This time, just tip the tailbone, and why not maybe just pop your hands on, roll the shoulders, pop your hands onto the thighs, have that lovely strong zip up, and from here, just slide it up. This time again, let's tuck the tailbone, but let's have a low V. So we're opening the chest, we're breathing in, we're breathing out. As we lift the arms up, we can dive forward, plant the hands, but bend the knees lovely and deeply. Step back to your plank for me. Into your plank. Hold it for me. Breathing in, breathing out. Gently part is what I would like to do for my down dog. Play around with the hand positioning. Gently press the heel of the hands down. Breathing in, breathing out. Ready for me again? Let's step forward together. Right foot, left foot for me. Stay low. Draw those shoulder blades back. Could you give me prayer position hands? So cores engaged. I might lift up to sit back down so that I'm not hunched forward. Prayer position hands. Breathing in, breathing out. As you come up, straighten up. Keep your prayer position hands. Breathing in, breathing out. From here, can you keep your prayer position hands and slide up and open into a calm version of tree. So I've got the heel underneath my knee. So we don't ever want to cover the knee. Then I'm going to slide. I'm going to keep the hands where they are and I'm doing a calm version. So I'm not helping myself with these legs just yet. I'm going to do that on our next one. So put the feet back together, release, look up, look back. And then I'm going to release to dive again. So standing forward bend. Let's do the half version, the flat back version. Fingertips out, breathing in, breathing out. Pop the weight into your heels for me. Keep stretching through the back of the legs. Then bend nice and deeply. Plant the hands. Step back into your plank position again. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, exhale. Let's go into your down dog, which is my step out. So I step a little wider. I push into the heel of the hands. If you haven't been letting go with the head, let's look through if you can. Look towards the floor or look towards your heels. Breathe in, breathe out. You've got the last one here. So let's step forward. Lovely tight positioning. Zip up through the core. When you come up this time, let's rise up and then let's slide back down. Go really deep, a little bit of a tip And we're going to do 3 of these. I haven't got much back bend actually. If you wanted more, you can do. I'm going to tip. And on this one, I'll pop that upper back extension in as I'm coming through. If you are okay to do so, you might be able to slide higher up. I know for me personally, I need a bit of wedging in. It's normally my trousers. So I need to wedge that heel in, and then I'll replace my prayer position hands back again for your tree pose. If you want hands higher, absolutely. If you want hands to the side, absolutely. But just stick with me. Breathing in and breathing out. And like I did to get there, I'm just going to release that foot. From here, let's just roll the shoulders. Breathe in, and let's have one more chair pose. A nice tipping down, dropping down version on your way through. We're going to reach up, and then if you are able to lift it on its own, again, I know I won't be able to, but I'm going to lift and pop that heel up into the nook of my pelvis. And then prayer position, hands heart center or otherwise. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice, strong, big, deep breaths. Just taking this rhythmical approach to your breath, holding firm and steady with the core. Relax those shoulders. And like before, I'm going to have to help myself out. I'm going to go back to planting the zipped up option of the legs. More core from you if you can. Roll the shoulders and just give me upper back extension here, which has the arms come behind. Just sweep in, soften the knees, and just give me a little mini version with the bent knee. And then sweep in, roll down. When you're coming out, we just gently open. So I'm just going to roll and sweep, pop my hands down for the flat back version of that standing forward bend, and then I'm just doing a little bit of both. I fold forward. If again you'd like to just tuck the chin and hold a little longer, looking down, then as you come up, you could straighten out through the legs, you can soften them. I'm just going to release the hands, use my core strength, lift my chin, hold my arms out here in this V shape. And if you are able to, leave the legs where they are and give me a step back, or even a lunge back. And then let's bring the arms up for a nice classic warrior one, but with a kind of lunge position leg. And then sweep and come back. Roll the shoulders, ease the arms out, again for a change. Step the other leg back, maybe then take it into a lunge position. Sweep the arms up and come out. So we're just going to flow with that. Either. So when you put the heel down, you might want to turn out and have more of a classic position for a warrior one. If you'd like to do the step through version that has a little bit of everything, please feel free to do your option. You don't want to come to it from a zipped up position, just give me parallel legs. I'm going to zip up, I'm going to open the arms, I'm going to step back, I'm just going to turn and then sweep. So then I'm going to come in, so I've done more of a warrior, less lunge. So I'm going to open the arms, step back, turn the heel, reach up. So I'm not as wide as I could go because I've done two, one each side of a calmer version. I'm just going to see if I can step back a little bit deeper. So I'm going to lean, step back, and then lift up. So I'm just going to lean out of it, use my core strength. I'm going to open, lean, step back, drop onto the angle there of the back leg turning out, and sweep. Step together, roll the shoulders, open, step back on the angle, and here, hold it a little longer. Breathing in, breathing out. Release, step to the front, roll the shoulders, open out. I do the lean step back so that when I lift, I've got more calf engagement, more calf stretch, more hip flexor opening, and I'm just going to do hands on hips. And when I come in, we're just going to do a little version of what we did wiggle-wise. And if you prefer a parallel, it might actually be nicer. The little wiggle we did together when we were down there in the all fours. This is our standing version of hip rolls. And if you want to, you can just sweep your arms with you and press and stretch, or even look up and dive down. If you want to sweep these arms whilst you're here, or come open and lift and dive. So now you've got a sweeping side, a sweeping forward bend with arms coming side to side and opening. So you're just flowing in, flowing out, and I'm doing some form of arm circle or sweeping arms. And then I'm just gonna soften the knees to hold this position as I come through. I'm gonna do a prayer position hand and keep the legs where they were and just come down into chair. Now that I'm calmer with the legs, I'm gonna go with classic for the arms and drop in just a little bit more, dropping into those heels. Breathing in, breathing out. As we flow up, I'm gonna be either where you are with the parallel or the zipped up legs, and you're just gonna do a really nice just stretch. If you want to come at it from prayer position hands in the heart center, you can always pause. And if you want to look, you could look up. If you want to, you keep the gaze in the center, or you might even look down and you could start to pull gently behind if it's appropriate, and put a little bit of rotation. Breathe in, breathe out. So sweeping arms, helping ourselves to a little bit more rotation. I'm just gonna have one more each side, and I prefer the looking down. So that's where I am. And then here, you're with the zipped up legs, or you might not be, but you're gonna come and give me another chair pose. So I'm gonna zip up, sit down. If you want to sit forward and you'd actually like to do our version where you hold the floor, just pull the shoulders back if you're with me in the actual elevated version. But otherwise, just stick with it. Stay strong, breathing in, breathing out. Again, let's tip you. Hold with the fingertips, straighten the legs, breathe in, breathe out. I'm gonna rise up through those heels, and I'm gonna have our prayer position hands above the head. I'm gonna slide and open to the calmer version of tree. So breathing in, breathing out. If you can leave the hands there, step down, step to the other side. We're just gonna have a little mini balanced walking version of this. So breathing in, breathing out. I'm going to do one more each side. Same idea. If I keep the shoulders back and down, I'm going to let the knee drop out a little bit more, open my hip a little bit more, but without using my hands, I can't get my leg up there. So I'm doing mine down here. If you want to have yours higher on option number 2, you absolutely can. And then as you come out, just release back down, release the shoulders, step apart or keep the legs where they are. But we're coming into mountain pose to just close out our standing section together. Breathing in. Breathe it out. Just sense that calm. Release tension through the feet. So ideally you're more so in the heels than you are in the big toes. So try not to lean forward, but try not to lean back. Just let it kind of flow. I definitely have a little sway. Outwardly, you might not see it, but I can sense it from within. I'm just letting gravity help me release any tension down through the arm line. I'm sensing that energy coming out through my fingertips, my thumb, through my biceps, relaxing my shoulders, relaxing the spine, breathing in and breathing out. And when you're ready for it, gently does it to open the eyes. Release the hands back down, and we are ready to come back down onto our mat. So I'm just going to go to the back or a little bit further back so that I've got more walk out, and I'm just going to do that downward facing dog and a plank, and then onto the all fours. So parallel legs for me. I'm going to tuck the chin. I'm going to roll down. I'm going to ease it out, ease to walk forward, and then step it from here for me into my plank. So I've slid on into that plank. Softening onto my knees, walking back to my all fours. One lovely big cat. I'm actually going to tuck my chin and hold it as well. Soften my elbows, undulate through for the cow. And then from here, I'm just going to walk us round. So before we come into your final relaxation position, we're going to do that U-shaped arm with the knees bent and have more chest stretching and more kind of easing into relaxation. So I'm just going to come in and just walk down or roll in. You can have a hug whilst you're there or when you're there in your Apanasana again. And then pop your feet down, pop them into parallel if it's good. And then I've got this U shape with my arms. The elbows are down and the elbows are in line with your shoulder. And if you can, pop the backs of the hands to settle on your floor or on your mat as well. Breathe in, breathe out. So I just did a lift and lower of my bottom so that I can position my upper back, my mid back, my lower back in a better positioning there that really does help me to settle into the mat. It's releasing tension for me. It's my body, so I will move and then I will tell you all about it. So if your body needs to do something else, please do pop it in as necessary. If you can allow yourself to go into Bandha Konasana in this reclining position, let's do that as well. So soles of the feet together and you've got those knees out wide, breathing in and breathing out. If you want to put the arms down first before you put the legs out, entirely up to you. I'm going to do one leg and a little wiggle, one leg and a little wiggle, and then I might just slide the arms to come back down. So you can have V shapes for the legs, V shape for the arms. You can have the knees bent. You can have reclining Bandha Konasana. You can have any position you like, but you're here now in the calmest that you can be for really the entire body, for both the mind and the body, for your breathing and for the actual physical body. So we're trying to release the physical body in your Shavasana, in this position that relaxes the body. And again, thinking about calming through the mind, calming through the body is our best place to be in this rhythm again. We're back to your rhythm. We're back to the calm. We're back to the idea of seamless flow. You might have had a little sort of stop-start with the breath when you're moving the body. But here for the here and now, let's be free with that body. Let's be free with the mind. Let's be free to breathe all the way through your body. It really is entirely up to you how you close out this session. Can you listen to my voice? And can you breathe your way through your body? What does your body need right now? Where do you need to focus your attention? Are you taking back control of the breath? Are you allowing that control to ease you into a seamless, calm version of this breathing? We are always in charge, but we need to be in charge in a way that is calming and kind to our body, kind to your mind, kind to your body, and that softness and that fluidity will just ease its way through from top to toe. Listening to your breath, listening to the movement of that breath through the body, and ultimately listening to your body. What does your body need? Breathing in and breathing out, creating that sense of calm that works for you and for your body and for the here and now. Be present with your breath, be present with the movement, be present with the outcome, and let's just breathe a little bit more together. Breathing in and breathing out. Taking the calm and letting it wash over your body. Inhale to rise, exhale, breathing out. Inhale, exhale. And when you're ready for a little bit more movement, just taking that rhythmical approach still through the body. So slow movements, easy movements, rotating movements, wiggling movements through top to toe, wherever you need it. And whenever you're ready, maybe it's just the very simplest of full body stretches will bring you up to me. But you can hug and rock or you can come to the side. But I'm here in easy pose. An easy pose is just that, is whatever's comfortable for you. And when we're here, we're just going to take some gentle stretching, reaching rhythms through side to side. Prayer position hands and lengthen. Inhale, exhale. From here, we'll take our prayer position, arms up, and then we will dive forward, and we will pull back, and we will come up. And when we're ready to come back in, my prayer position hands at my heart center, I'm saying namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and may the light in me be the light in you, and may you have a beautiful day and a beautiful evening to join me. Once again, I would thank you for joining me, and I can't wait to see you here again very soon. Thank you so much. See you very, very soon.